have my meeting with the Crown Duchess today, and I do have my notes prepared in a way. The meeting is about the joint declaration. I am aiming to be... Obviously, I'm going to be civil during it, even if my feelings on it are a bit less than civil, in all honesty. I'm still not over the fact that rather than making any attempt to discuss with the Soulless or me or the Loons, the solution of trying to get my court support was left to a book handed out to the public without talking to anyone else about it first. And there's no excuse to do that. There is not a single reasonable excuse to do that. This was penned by the High Chancellor and the Crown Duchess, who are living on the same academy campus as me. If they couldn't get a meeting with the Soulless, which would be understandable given the circumstances of the academy, it is entirely have been possible to get a meeting with me. Yet they instead chose to completely go around me and my court, and instead broadcast publicly asking for us to stand with them, giving us no details on the situation, not talking to us a single bit, just going to a book and giving us a 1 page in a book of stand with us. As a general reminder, here it is, the joint declaration. Let it be known, in this matter, Court Cinderland and Court Ceruleum speak with one voice. The recent violent actions of Gar Ondine are a stain upon the honor of his house, and we name them as such without hesitation. They say this, but there's no word of what the Grand Duke has done. And the Grand Duke is a lord on the Concord. This is a dangerous statement in general. We affirm Mirelle Ondine as the rightful heir to the Cerulean and her place our trust for the days to come. Interesting statement, given I wasn't under the impression that she ever lost her place as heir. That is when I'm going to ask her if she ever was determined to not be the heir anymore. Because if she wasn't, I still don't understand the purpose of this. They're just reaffirming something that is already well known and accepted. And it makes me wary of the High Chancellor, because if he uses this as a way to claim, well, we helped put you into power to Mirelle, that gives them a disturbing amount of influence over her and her court. The fate of her court and of Everthorne rests now in those selected to stand within the halls of the Academy. So they do address the fact that those of us in the halls of the Academy have a lot of influence. And yet they still did not speak with me. They sent out letters, publicly posted everywhere. To Court Solmera and Court Bloodwind, we extend this call. Stand with us in judgment that the path forward may be plain and held in common. The path forward of punishing the Grand Duke for his actions that we don't know of. They want us to stand with them when we don't know of his actions. And instead put Mirelle in his place. By all means, that is, not only would we be interfering with the succession of a different court, if we interfere with the succession of a different court, that is going to give the impression that we will accept interference in ours. That is a dangerous game to play when it comes to ruling in politics, because it will come back to bite us. Most definitely. If, well, you interfered in this one, it's going to set a new precedent. It doesn't matter if we help in this or not. Them letting Cinderloon interfere in their succession is going to set a new precedent. The years of old have had their say. What comes next shall be decided by those who bear the charge of it now. This is the will of the people, and it shall not be set aside. It is the will of the people, yet it has not been discussed with the people. It is just given a book with no information. A book discussing the succession of Court Cerulean, but it was written by the High Chancellor and signed first by the High Chancellor. Just some bullet points, I suppose, that I want to try to remember to speak on, depending on how the flow of conversation goes with the Crown Duchess, is, first off, is she aware of the book and its contents, and did she actually prove it? Did she proofread it? I am curious. Because if she proofread it, what was her intention of the book? What was her intention of the book overall? What was her intention of doing the call to action to my court without ever having the slightest bit of respect to speak to me? Question: why a book talking about Cerulean succession and asking for support of it is being pinned by Cinderloon and not her? Why is she leaving it to the High Chancellor to get her support? Why is he the one pushing for her to be supported? Why is she not the one gathering her own supporters? Is she not capable of it? Is she not capable of speaking for herself? Is she incompetent as a ruler? Has her title Crown Duchess been revoked? If no, why is the book asserting her as heir when that has not been questioned? If it has been revoked, I don't know exactly where I'm going to go with that yet. If it has been revoked, it's still a matter of her in succession. She has been the Crown Duchess for years now. Even if the Grand Duke withdrew her title, if he has done these violent actions, if these violent actions are crimes, and she outs those crimes to her court, I do think that they will acknowledge her as their heir still. Because it is going to come up that the reason why her title of heir was taken was likely because she learned of these things and was trying to get justice for them. And her people should support her on that. Because she is still of the correct bloodline, she is still of the lineage, she still had the title, and she is doing it to seek justice. So it comes to reason, why is this book written? Why is Cinderloon involved in her court succession? What are they gaining from trying to rally support for her? What is she offering them? Because if she is offering them nothing, they are gaining something still. So if she has not clearly offered them something, nobles do not do things out of the goodness of their heart. They do not do things for free, let alone a High Chancellor of another court. He is gaining something from this, and if she isn't giving him something, then he is doing this. If she believes he is doing this out of the goodness of his heart with pure intention, then that is exactly what he's intending her to think, to make her feel indebted to him, more loyal to him. What was her intended purpose of the book? Does she think it accurately relayed that? I want to know what this book's intention was, what she thought this book would do. What was her father done to warrant the book? I was told that she has mind control experiments, have done unethical experiments, and there has been a lot of death. I want to know what she is going to claim her father has done. And then talk about the call of action to Solmera after not making a single effort to reach out to us. What is her reasoning for that? Because there is no reason, honestly. I don't care if all this has been going on with your court. If you're going to make if you have the time to work with another court and they're going to make a public statement on your behalf, someone should have reached out to me. But that is, for the most part, what I have. I get to go to a professional meeting. I'm not looking forward to it. I truly am not. I don't even have someone I can bring with me. I brought Seven last time that we had a meeting of a sort because he's the one that has the most experience with these types of meetings. But he has honestly been MIA from the academy for a while now, which isn't a surprise. I guess the best title to give him would be delinquent. It's not something that I didn't entirely expect from him. I was hoping he'd put a better foot forward, and he had been. He had been putting a good foot forward at the academy, but it only goes so far. Has anyone else read this? Maybe I need to make a section that they put that they've read it, in all honesty. Make sure I have the right book on me. I do. There's another fucking book. Dearest Noble Scholar, this academy has survived through 2 seasons thus far, both environmentally and socially. In the time since this author's last exposition, we have had a multitude of festivals, each hosted by a different court. The courts have celebrated holidays, new beginnings, and new endings. More importantly, there have been ample opportunity to learn more about each other. But in this learning, trust should not be a hard-earned commodity and not something easily given. The last time this author wrote was to bring to light some of the Academy's darkest secrets. One hope, darkest secrets. It brought up cerulean, some of cerulean because nothing else was very secretive. The hope that would help each court gain a foothold on their own problems. But when one's pride is on the line, few ever accept outside analysis. With the headmaster and the facility all seemingly gone on a trip every few weeks without any notice to the courts or their head heirs, it's hard to imagine how things could run so smoothly. Perhaps the truth no one wishes to expand upon is that they aren't running smoothly, and that trust in these pillars from each court might be misplaced. This author might be the only one willing to say what was on their minds. On behalf of every student here, allow me to expand more on the topics many know but dare not to mention. The headmaster's motives continue to remain up to speculation, that it was on good authority that this author believed he prefers to leave the school unsupervised so as to give students room for further slip-ups. Professor Castiel, who acts as headmaster Phelan's bodyguard, as well as interim headmaster when he's away, seems to be unable to perform either of these duties, currently being locked away for a week in the med bay after a recent attack. One that only he witnessed, so it is impossible to tell whether it truly happened or not. This is indeed a shame. In light of all the recent attacks on students, perhaps Professor Castiel did more to protect than originally presumed. Perhaps he is a better shield than a teacher, even if the most of his time is spent away from the castle, and his own personal academy for those he deems worthy. Starfall. The academy has recently discovered that Professor Castiel has selected an elite group, including Ladies Ridley, Lizzaylia, Marjorie, along with Lord Leonidas, Sven, and Paxton, who he hopes to train into elite knight, positioning them above his other students. The author thought the headmaster was playing favorites, but Professor Castiel has made his preferences clear, even over his own family. Speaking of favorites, Professor Saren is currently ensured that Lady Death has maintained her position of popularity by bearing the consequences of Jurgen's sister's fiasco during a magical studies a few months ago. To add, Professor Saren has missed more than a few classes, and has shown it very public with torn ear, very likely from some sort of battle or accident, is yet to be disclosed. While the professor's business is her own, her reputation for being secluded makes her wonder if she never tells her students anything outside of class. Is there any way for them to assist her when going gets tough, especially if she's no longer dating Professor Crobden? Perhaps she remains an enigma because there is much more to her than meets the eye. The professor who seems fully transparent with the student body and remains around most days is Professor Crobden, who sponsors pretty much every active club. Though she too left very recently for a trip, unexpectedly her social absence noticeable on the school grounds with no classes and no extracurriculars to speak of. Each professor seemingly having other business occupying them, one would think the headmaster advised of the challenge is that he seems to have private meetings with select students, somehow knowing all without ever interacting with the student body as a whole. Is it possible the headmaster has moles in the student ranks, choosing to rely on them for information he can use at his own purposes? The author recommends being careful of who you trust in your courts, for secrets seem to be secret from every corner these days, where the headmaster's face lurking behind many. Either way, this author thinks that perhaps hopes that maybe the headmaster is currently on leave because he's looking for some new blood to fill teaching positions. Perhaps Professor Helios will return from court once again and reignite their romance with the headmaster. Despite the work of the professors, the court themselves seem to be continuing to run as best they can, though it is no secret that each court has its own share of mishaps. Court St. seems to be at the center of a strange coup against Grand Duke Ondine, father to the Crown Duchess and her many sisters. Odd considering they have no military to speak of, the author must wonder how they plan to enforce this. This isn't the first time Court St. has made a damning name for themselves, starting with considerably tough tensions with Court Bloodwyn through their crass and abusive language, as well as Lord Cinder's supposed prank on their dorms, which prompted Prince Ezra to negotiate a month-long therapy trip for Lord Cinder, invading Court Bloodwyn's privacy for reasons only known to Lord Cinder himself. The author has seen that High Chancellor Cassian Cambodian has been noticeably missing from recent classes and club meetings, so his brother Chancellor Candace claims he has been back at court a lot lately to talk with the people of his court. Were the High Chancellor truly at home as much as he claims? However, this author thinks he would have heard of at least some dissenting opinion, instead of just steamrolling ahead with a plan that puts every court in a horrible position. While his author cannot truly criticize this plan without knowing what all goes in the High Chancellor's head, is fighting the Grand Duke truly the best course of action? High Chancellor, what sort of violent actions would warrant an all-out war? Rather than spend time on the bloody fantasies, perhaps the High Chancellor could spend his time with his brothers and the dealings of his court. So this book was written after the book went out, for immediate release. Maybe his energy remains focused on the points, as Court St. remains in the lead in total despite any attempt for external interference. While the Cambodian family seems united, Chancellor Candace more often than not looks like a wounded and lost puppy whenever his twin brother isn't around, and during the recent Rose Festival, almost never left his brother's side. Goodness, this is long. Chancellor Candace also seems mired in the business of Lady Arctoria, who very recently was found and brought back to school grounds. This was written recently. is it not? Getting in the way of the Crown Duchess' care for her own court members. Perhaps if the High Chancellor had mutual devotion to his twin, he could ensure that his desired alliance with Court Cerulean would have a hope. Funny how Chancellor Canyon seems so obsessed with water when it is said that he almost died in water as a child, which is itself and sad, but one has also learned that he bathes in honey and collects it afterwards to drink. One cannot help but wonder if his booth at the Rose Festival had bottles of the same liquid. Gross! Hopefully no one has left the taste of brimstone after sampling the bottles. Beyond the Cambodian twins, it is still unknown which of the other demons is serving the role of second heir. Though this author would like to argue Lord Leonos would be a suitable candidate, or perhaps Lady Min, who was the main host of the... Is it not Lord Dante? Lord Dante was at the heir event hosted by Bloodwin. Whatever. In favor of Lord Leonidas, he's reliable and social and spends a decent amount of time working hard in his classes, so much that he has been experimenting on other students through the use of potions. Personality changes, sex changes, and other changes in appearance. While these have generally been well received, it's possible Lord Leonidas has darker intentions behind his acts. With everyone distracted, it's perfect cover for him to sneak around, though unseen in the medbay as of late, so perhaps he went a bit too far with the tactics. Lady Min's has been far less problematic, with his author having nothing horrible to note about her. Her recent confidence compares to how she was at the beginning of the school year is a welcome change. As Lady Min has been experimental, although line for her shy nature is all a ruse. This is a lot about Court Cinderloon. Missing for quite some time, neither come to classes, Dante has been hanging out with Waverly. He leads the kingdom building project. Lady Riley's very involved in Tinker's trinkets, spends a lot of time with Lord Leonidas, and their sibling should be strong. Lord seems to be on his own at the worst times. With Lady Riley's love for Leonidas one-sided, with all the demons being family, it's always possible that someone might fall through the cracks, but perhaps they hope for things to be the other way. With the, oh goodness. The contracts and mischief at their disposal, the author can only assume there is still much to reveal about them. One such demon who possessed Lord Cinder is the tendency of the Rose Festival too. Perhaps Prince Edna has forgiven him for his trespasses, or perhaps his recent act with Lady Marjorie and Lady Celica have centered his place among court bloodwin, whether the prince likes him or not. Perhaps the final assessment of the short prince's attention was too focused on Soul Katarina's gorgeous dress at the Rose Festival. Surprising that the man is vain enough to have kissed his own portrait as well as the plushy version of himself. Well, they're right. My dress was gorgeous. So we're the... This is a long book. This is a really long book. I will say what's mentioned in this one is much less gossipy than, like, they have a lot of things they're talking about are real. They're talking about the book that was posted by High Chancellor Candaris. Lady Westland wouldn't have had any of the princess' antics or winter not being among the most competent court members of Court Berlin, but she's away at court supposedly because of an illness that struck her. Might be a convenient color for a secret diplomatic mission for her family. Perhaps she simply grew tired of the prince's frequent administrative blunders. Her absence had been filled with a dutiful watch of Lady Celica, who stepped up, playing the Rose Festival. Something like a proper training, making one wonder if she truly is prepared for such a mantle long term, while the author notes that Lady Celica's demeanor has certainly improved over the last few months. She still regularly butt heads with many students. Lady Celica has learned the ropes, and the prince is not all that displeased. The author wonders if perhaps Lady Westwind was not ill or busy at all, but rather as the prince was threatened by Lady Westwind's competence and sent her away. Interesting. We're still here. Lady Rosen would not have been the victim of Lady Daphne's magical attack a number of weeks ago, nor would Lord Mateus have been afraid. They think of a magic attack. It was a magical duel that was approved. To the point of spending more time with his super friends. Lord Mateus being afraid of physical touch with anyone outside the court. The prince of really started becoming more involved with his own court affairs after Or is it efforts enough to undo months of behavior and ridicule? The love testing may have made for good last, but they last directed at the antics or at Prince Ezra himself. Between Lady Violet's petty attention-seeking grudges and the Dark Knight heroics of Lady Sabrina, while fairly unassuming by day, has been seen wearing a mask and cloak, playing the part of a student merely to garner the sympathy of the masses. The prince has his hands while Lady Marjorie pursues Knight, but despite being directed from home to join a court affairs, and also enjoys company with Lord Finn, while her chartered bond with Lady Rivalries seems to have dissolved into a mere performance. Between Lady Violet's petty attention-seeking grudges. I'm nervous about our section. I feel like our section is going to talk about two of my court lady. It's probably gonna. I wonder if Paxton's gonna be mentioned again. It's probably gonna mention that Lady Lizzaylia has given up on Lord Paxton and is now trying to pursue Lord Leonidas, despite Lady Daphne's. And you wonder if and it's gonna talk about how I'm close to the prince. I feel like that is what our section is going to talk about. Rumor Lady was tried to bribe her fellow court members in an effort to exert power over the only people who will listen to her. One interesting note is Lady Vicky has been the center of some gossip lately. She's not been on campus since her very first day. Who are not meant to be here. Including Lord will deign his subjects with another round of being a princess to maintain the respect. Both the headmaster and fellow students from above. Solmera. Crown Duchess. I need to reach out to the Crown Duchess, but I also want to read her in my section, because if she has read this prior to me, I don't want her to have any information I don't. More than one warrant little note, and the author would much rather spend time looking at more interesting, less regal families. Duchess Aqua and Waverly. So they're skipping over Mirelle. Duchesses remain at court. Herein she was mind-controlled and sent back home and reconditioned, leaving Crown Duchess with only one heir. Lord Paxton, romancing Prince Other connection heavily to Court Solmera. His affections for Loon Tavalli didn't even use the correct title. And Lizzaylia. Went for the class. Extended Lord, the only thing permitting. So Paxton, Tavalli, and Lizzaylia did get the mention in this book. Any other doctors and most hidden considerations? He has maintained his flax charm persona the past few weeks, controlled enough strength, interest. Consider Lord Silas. He spent much time walking. Lord Silas is with Lady Rosalind. His life after an assassination attempt. He struggled to fight when he takes supplements to boost his fighting. Are only notable because of how their time is spent while seen in public. Lady Morris spends so much time in court that she has missed severe technological developments in classes. How she can contribute to her court if she's never around, if not, and is often confused. Not to mention, care to seem she isn't around much others. Shambles looking for absent students. On the other hand, Lady Toya has yet to attend any of her major classes, but has seen on numerous occasions clinging to the hip of Chancellor Candace. Love between a sea monster and demon born at the unsuccessful win at the werewolf game. Keeping an eye on the dangerous blades of Lady Artoria to make sure his plan goes as hoped. Finn continues to be solitary, even direct conflict with his own Crown Duchess and Finn's descent over petty matters, early and setting to fight mobs on the railroad tracks and spend time with other members. Lady Marjorie. Soon to be masculine Finn's parents as she is making tea to keep up with such production. This author can only wonder if Lady will use in any argument, but it'll perhaps feeling the growth of hormones makes such tea as she does. What? Okay. Spending time in public. Interesting. So they talk about Lady Leviathan, but they have a brother that just changes places with her, and read it said of the sea monsters changing gender. It's my court section. Okay. Lastly, but certainly not without their own share of scandal, is Solmera. The inner sanctum of Court Solmera turned on Sol Katarina, who has long held a reputation for being formidable and untouchable. Among the court heirs, she possesses much grace and leaves little to be desired. But very recently, the author came across some interesting information about her relationship with her brother, Lord Seven, who's not quite been seen for some time. It was well known Seven rejected the royal soul in favor of his own freedom. What if this decision was truly his own? If it had come through the attention of this author that Sol Katarina forced Seven to make a contract that officially strips his own free will, perhaps this loss of agency prevents him from staying around the school, or if he were to be seen, he might be discovered he had a role in some of the recent adjustments to the professor's portraits over the last few months. Interesting. Okay. And unless on Solmera for his own safety. Romance seems to be a strange world for other court members. Tavali and Paxton and Lizzaylia. Mentions how Lady Lizzaylia went missing. She's a vital cog in whatever plan he has for the Academy. Lighter news, Lord Felix's natural hair color is black and white. Being very professional, but using she's the planner of Lord Leonard's experiments. The same level of respect he had for missing. Not everything is as it seems. Interesting. I apparently wrote a contract to force my brother to give it his position. Has anyone talked to Seven? They would very much learn that's not the case. I didn't want the position either, but I accepted it because I have responsibilities and obligations to my court as a member of the Solmera family. My life was thrown in a total upheaval by becoming Sol. I had plans and future aspirations, and all of that got undone as I took on this position. I am privileged to have this provision. I am lucky to have it. It is... Is this more of this? It is. They left it everywhere. I assume these... I don't know where we would have the meeting. Always meet in the library. I'll sit up here and wait for her response. And I'm currently reading my mail, but can meet with you afterwards if you are available. And that is fine by me. Sumu also got a hefty book of many pages. They are thrown all around the school path as well. If she's now just reading it, she likely has a lot to read. I don't even know. Like, I forced Seven to sign a contract, apparently. Apparently I force people to sign contracts. I've not once ever forced anyone to sign a contract, for the record. For the record. I am happy to be soul. It is my responsibility and obligation as part of my family to bear this responsibility and the consequences of it. So I will never say I don't like being soul, because that insults everyone who envies my position. It is others envy me for the position I have, so it would be an insult to them to demean its value. However, I was second born. I was raised and trained in the skill set of hosting events and such, and I was to be married into another well-off family. That was my purpose. To always go to the church, I was to be wed off. And I was happy to do so. And instead, I took over the soul responsibilities late, so I never got the proper training fully of a soul. And I am still learning. So if the worst they can come up with about me is me spending time with the prince and having to have a bold-faced lie that I coerced my brother into giving up his position, anyone who has had a proper conversation with him would know he did not want his position. He has not wanted his position. I wasn't even of age when he gave up the position. What would someone who was not even of age have done to be able to coerce someone to give up their title? Our father wouldn't have allowed that. Our father wants Seven as soul. He wanted him as soul. He was so unhappy that he gave up that position. Everything in order here? Seems like it. Okay. What else is there to see? I guess I'll check the main board while I wait. I don't know what else to do. Magical studies, don't trample the flowers, tutors, community events, mob studies. This is exhausting. This has been an exhausting day already. Now I need to talk to the Crown Duchess, and both of us likely are going to have this book fresh in our mind instead. I haven't put any thought into who might have written this either. They misspelled loon. I believe my court knows how to spell their own title, but they also could have done it as on purpose to withhold things, but has recently come across, this author's recently come across the information that, that I coerced, what did it say about me? Wonder who gave that supposed information. The inner sanctum of Court Solmera centers on Soul Katarina. As it should at this academy of so few people, it should center around the one they're trying to get to become queen. She's being formidable and untouchable. Possesses much grace and leaves little to be desired. Little to be desired, so they had to come up with a bold-faced lie. It is well known that Lord Seven rejected his role of soul in favor of his own freedom, but what if this discussion was not truly his own? That forced Lord Seven to make a contract that essentially strips him of his own free will. If I stripped him of his own free will, he would be attending the academy. He would be attending the academy as my heir, simply put. If I had to say, he would be upholding his duty as a member of the Solmera family. I want him to be happy, I do. But he was born into a very privileged position. And that privilege and that position comes with responsibility. And he has cost away the responsibility he has to his court in favor of this freedom he chases after. Freedom that's built off the backs of those who have worked hard and who are trying to work for a betterment of the court. So yes, if he was in a contract with me, he would be attending the academy, and he would be earning us points, and he would help us do well. Yet, he is not here. I didn't really see the book inside the academy. It seems like this might be where it ends, perhaps. I don't know when she was going to become available. I suppose we could meet in the library, but I feel like the library is people frequently come to. Where could we meet at? The prince would just meet at his house, when I met with him. Professor Crobden. Have a meeting at the Botany Club area. Not sure how good of a meeting spot this would be. We can sit across from each other just fine. I don't even bother taking the books out of the mailboxes because ultimately, if the other dorms got them, they're going to have them. I'm not going to withhold information from my court and make myself look bad if they're going to get access to it anyways. Comments on Luciola's experience mentions how Lady Ridley hasn't been seen and Seven hasn't been seen. Seven was never expected to remain at the academy too much. Father sent him here more or less by force. Didn't give him much for an option. I knew he wouldn't actually participate as much. If I had control over him, I would make him. Lady Ridley came on strong with the academy. It was very proactive and participating in many things. And then she went home. I saw her off. She went home. I believe she returned, and then she returned home again. Which is understandable given her family's position. They are not as well off, so they likely do need her help at home. Greetings.
Good evening. There were indeed a lot of those books scattered around.
Yes, I walked to the dorm, or not the dorm board, the Willow Tree board, and saw all of them and didn't even bother to try to clean them up. It's
yeah, I started to, and then I was like, nope, there's too many. I gave up. So.
But we can sit at the table.
Very nice.
I'm going to make a space for us.
Sounds good.
Okay, I have to be prim, proper, and professional.
Well, I do want to start out by saying that I apologize for not coming to you sooner. It did happen rather quickly, and I did not realize that it was being sent around as it was. So I could not have even given a heads up, I guess. And then there were other matters that ended up popping up, but I do apologize for that. That was my fault.
You didn't realize it was going to be sent around as it was. How was it, to your knowledge, supposed to be sent?
I know that it was being sent back to Emberhold within Court Centerlune. And Cassian may have mentioned that he was going to send it here or do something with it, but I honestly do not recall
Nonetheless, you saw the book, saw the contents, and signed off on it with your approval.
I did. I have been made aware that it does look not the best.
Rather than reach out to Solus, is who it should be reached out to if you're seeking Solmera support. Understandably, it's easier to reach out to me or one of my loons, and yet that was still completely neglected to do. And despite knowing that, you still signed off on approving a book calling my court to action. My court, who does not leave their borders. We have knights who are protective of their family and their homes. And the book calls us to action when we have absolutely no information. It is just saying the violent actions of the Grand Duke Gar Ondine. And it's trying to incite us into what? A rebellion? Treason? You're inviting other courts to interfere in your court secession.
For myself, that was not the purpose of it. I was not trying to get anyone else to, go to war or anything of that matter. The way that I took it when I read it, and when I had spoken with Cassian, was more of a don't support him as the actions that have come out about him. At the time, I was under the impression that the news had traveled further than maybe it did. But I see that that was probably not the case. I do wish that I had handled the situation differently now.
Yes, because it's simply put, Crown Duchess, this book is talking about, did you ever lose your title as the rightful heir to your court? Because this is what this book's implying, is that your title was stripped.
It was not. I guess I did not take it as that either. My father has done some very, very bad things as of late.
Then out his actions and take your spot on your court's position, rather than I'm going to speak to you as, I know we're not close enough to be considered friends, but I'm going to bluntly give you my impression of what this book had, and I'm not sure if this is what the intended consequences was, but when I read it, it says you were speaking with one voice with Cinderloon, but this is pinned from the High Chancellor's desk. It seems like he is trying to assert you onto your position and not you trying to put yourself in your position. It is showing that he is taking the charge in it and not you, when it is your court and you should be leading the charge.
I see.
So me finding out about the circumstances of your court through the High Chancellor does not give me the best impression.
I see. I appreciate the frankness. I would have consulted members of my court, but they were all gone at the time, and it was maybe not the best course of action. I do wish I could do things differently now, but Cassian and Cinderloon had come to me after hearing of things, offered their aid, and this was essentially a way to help them as well for matters that I won't delve into that is happening back in their court. But it was my own fault for not understanding. I guess I took it a different way.
And you said you don't want to delve into it, but you are very much aware of what they are benefiting from doing this. Like, you know what you are giving them in exchange, because people do not do things for free.
Yes, of course. They had offered their support with my father and my court, and it was more just to aid us with what we need, and this was to help their matters back home.
Make sure you hold on to your power, because my impression reading the book is, since I do not know what they're getting from you, if you do, that is good, but you mentioned yourself that your title was never stripped. The book gives the impression that it was, and that they are trying to make you that position rightfully going to you. So they're trying to, in my opinion of it, seem to read that they are trying to take credit for putting you back into your position. So when you become Grand Duchess, they have credit for that, and that is concerning.
I see.
So whatever you are offering to them, make sure there's that, and not them trying to strip you of your own power and your independence as your court.
I will definitely keep that in mind. I appreciate you telling me that from what it looks like from the outside. To be quite honest, I have never dealt with matters such as these. It has been... My father does most of the things back at home and has kept me in the dark a lot.
I can relate to that to an extent. I just don't want you to end up in your position if you were to become Grand Duchess prematurely, which I don't know what your father has done, but if it's something that you do need to take the situation early, I just want to ensure that you hold the power within your court. Do not let someone else take credit for it, and do not let someone else make you feel indebted to them, where you have to give them sway over your own people.
You are right. I appreciate the advice, truly. I know there were mainly my siblings that were not the most happy with my action after I had done it, but at the time it seemed, I don't want to say a means to an end, but it was to help in that immediate damage control, I guess. There was no one else around for me to consult with.
I just worry that you're being taken advantage of. I don't want any of the other heirs to be taken advantage of by anyone. What is your ultimate goal if your father, I don't know if you want to expand on what your father has done, but what is your ultimate goal? What do you want to do?
My father, like I mentioned, has done some bad things. I don't know if you have read the book that was scattered about. It had a few truths hidden under all the gossip. Have you heard of Professor Cribden's family?
I have. I have a branch of the Cribden family staying in Donmere.
Well, thank you for that. It has come to light. It has not, I guess, it has been tried to be covered up as a fringe house doing the deeds that were done. But it has come to light that it was orders of my father, because he is not happy that I am learning things here, that I am trying to stand my ground and step away from whatever he has been doing, there has been more things brought to light, and he is not the type of man you want in any form of power. I want more than anything for my people, for everyone to be safe, and I don't want him to try to blindside anyone again. I have been kept in the dark far too long, and it is all coming to light now how he is, and I don't want anyone else to, I guess, experience something like that.
Well, you're in the single best position to undo your father's power, because at the end of the day, you are his rightful heir, and on paper, you are his heir. So, if everything he's done is to the extremes it is something that can be taken through the Thorn Concord, through Prince Phelan, and settled that way, rather than trying to send out a book that addresses not me, but addresses the people of my court, the civilians of my court, and trying to support this uprising.
Understandable. I guess I wish I could do things differently, but I guess I can only do better going forward.
Every regarded academy is a ground to learn things, and if your father is upset that you're learning, then honestly, it was his mistake to send you here in the first place, and you have done good to go against him and learn. I've learned a lot of things at the academy I wasn't taught at home. It's not a secret, but the book highlighted again that I did come into power so late. I wasn't of age whenever I got the position, but I was far past the age training was meant to begin.
I see. Definitely is a lot.
Of the head heirs, you're the one from the distance I felt I related to the most, mainly just because my impression of you has been reserved and elegant. And the High Chancellor and the Prince are more, I guess, flamboyant and outgoing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
So ultimately, I do hope to remain on good terms, but this isn't even related to the book itself. Even if you had approached me prior, if it came down to you asking us to send Solmera Knights to help in any form of conflict, my answer is the same that every single one of my predecessors have been every time we've been approached, and it's that we do not send Solmera Knights outside our region.
That is okay. I was not going to ask for any military aid. Like I said, with the way my father is, he does things very underhanded, and I think he is going to not try something as outward as that.
Can you relate to me what you're comfortable relaying to me, as I am of another court, what your father has done, despite me not being able to step in with, I suppose, physical support?
Of course. Well, you already know of Della's family. And he has tried other means to attack members of my court to get to me. Currently, he has been sending letters to try to get me to return home. He has gone so far as to hold people over my head to get me to come back. There's a lot of other stuff that I don't think I can delve into, unfortunately, but not great things.
I will say your decision to remain at the academy, in my opinion, is the best course of action, even if it means he is holding other people and coming after other people, because as I mentioned before, as it stands, you are the best piece to get him out of power. And if you compromise yourself, then it's more than likely your entire court will follow after you, or those who are following you. Ultimately, your safety should be your priority, because as the book stated, you are the rightful heir of your court. And that comes with privileges, of course, but that also comes the responsibility of many lives on your shoulders.
I agree. It is why I have not returned, because I know that if I were, it would affect everyone's lives here, and I do not wish to do that.
If you don't intend to become, I suppose, your father's puppet, if he's angry at your learning, then yes, stay at the academy and aim to win the crown as you have been. The easiest way to get him out of power is to have power above his.
Yes, that is definitely the goal.
As it stands, all the courts are technically competitors in it, but I also, from the beginning, have saw the value of the fact that we are, in fact, one kingdom, and I don't want to see any court fall to ruin because of a bad leader. So if the Grand Duke is doing such, while more hurt might be coming now, if you rush things, you might expedite hurt and make it worse. So as long as you use caution and carefully plan, don't rush ahead to write a book that could very well make other courts your enemy, because the book was not well received.
Yes, I am seeing that. I appreciate you talking with me about it, though. It has indeed helped.
As I said, I, in a way, find myself thinking that we are similar in some ways. Even if you might think differently, I'm unsure of your opinion of it. But
I do agree. I see similarities. And like you said earlier, I do not want us to be on bad terms. I quite enjoy your company when we are around each other.
I have to agree with that statement. I find myself behaving less awkwardly with you than I do with some of the others, so it's always a relief in that regard.
I agree.
Yes, I do want what is best for your court, as I'm sure you do as well. But unfortunately, as someone who also has lives on my shoulders, I will be putting the lives of my court and the safety first. And as it stands, I can't necessarily afford to make the Grand Duke turn his eyes onto my court and target us. We are not a combative court. We have some people who dedicate their lives being knights, and they do it accepting that they might lose their sanity. And I'm not going to cause them more risk by giving another court a reason to attack our borders.
It's very understandable. I do not blame you. I admire your determination and care for your people.
I don't envy your position, and I'm certain you're going to be making many hard decisions, but I do think if you hold strong to your ideals and are doing what you think is right by your people ultimately, that you will get your way.
Hopefully. Well, I'm glad we had this talk.
Me as well. I think I hit all my talking points.
I guess there anything else you would like to discuss while we are here?
Not unless you want to discuss anything from this very long book. I did only skim portions of it.
Why was it so incredibly long?
It had like 2 pages talking about Lady Leviathan.
And I don't understand why. What is the matter with her going between masculine and feminine?
That's what I found confusing, that they're making it... It's giving the impression, at least, that it was not Cerulean who wrote this book, perhaps, just because your court gender swapping is normal.
Yeah.
So it feels weird that they would comment so heavily on it.
I did notice some grammatical errors, and I believe they spelled loon wrong.
Oh, they spelled Loon wrong many times. They also did not use Seven's title. They called him Lord Seven.
I did notice that as well.
I guess I can, clear the air on the fact that apparently I have my brother an obedience contract. If I did, he would be at the academy earning his points blankly.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't... I don't know. Some of the stuff that it brings up, I feel like is very vague.
It brings up a lot of recent things. It feels like the first part of the book was written very recently and the rest was held on to.
It does. It did mention some stuff that, happened... Was it Friday?
Mm-hmm, the med bay.
Mm-hmm. And... where was it? Let me see if I can find it. If I can find it too. So, someone knowing of the quote-unquote direct conflict with his own Crown Duchess in defense of his friends over petty matters, that just happened Friday, so I can only assume it was someone that was around to witness it.
Interesting.
Because there weren't many people around.
Well, people at the academy also talk a lot.
They do indeed. I don't know, there was quite a lot in here. Though apparently my activities weren't little notes, so...
Hey, at least they didn't lie about you having a sibling in a contract.
No.
Or about a scorned lover this time.
This is true.
They could have had a saga.
Scorned lover. What's next? No, instead they talk about my sisters. So, that's real fun. It also does not seem that they know that Silas has stepped up as which I guess it has not been announced or anything, but Silas is stepping up as a duke. We found out he is my brother, so half brother. Yeah.
I see. So that was discovered after attending the academy. Then that's similar to how Lord Paxton discovered his relation to Della. No.
That is correct. A lot of craziness. He was not aware. Trying to think of anything else in here. It touched on the professors quite a lot.
It did. It mentioned Starfall as if it was this whole... It felt like it was saying, oh, there's like secret place, and it's... Were you aware it was a secret?
Yeah, I feel like I've heard about it several times.
Yes, I don't think it's secretive. It was also, at least during, I don't know, this was months ago, my meeting with the headmaster where he wanted to see how we're feeling about the academy. he brought up how other courts had the concern that Professor Castiel were taking their court members to go work on this giant city instead of them working on their kingdom building. So I've known about it vaguely since then, but...
Yeah, I've known it for quite some time because I believe that Finn or Pax has brought it up before or mentioned something about helping Professor Castiel.
Also, it mentions for Sunderloon, isn't their third heir not just Lord Dante? I feel like I even asked Chancellor Candace about this and he didn't rebuke me.
Well, at the Court Bloodwind's winter solstice, he was in attendance, and that was only heirs. So I assumed from then that he was at least in the position.
I did as well, and so it was sometime later I had approached Chancellor Candace asking if I was using the wrong title for Lord Dante, if he was supposed to be Chancellor Dante too. And he was like, no, he'd still be Lord. And he said he's Chancellor just because he's the brother of the High Chancellor. So I felt like that gave me confirmation that he was the third heir.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was still a secret. I thought the last Mistress A Fable book also mentioned this already.
I thought it did too, but who knows? That one was also quite lengthy.
That this book I do view a bit more seriously. The first book I did not view with. I know your court got hit on a lot, so I understand your last time you had to view it more. Last time our court, it was just talking about Lord Paxton in the Solmera section.
It was, though he is mentioned again with
He is, but he doesn't have all the pages dedicated to him.
This is true. I still can't get over how they have Levy as, and they also mentioned Silas. What is it with saying that my court members are taking supplements? Why? Where is it at? Strange that he would struggle in a fight when he takes supplements to boost his fighting ability. Why?
Flaxton got a mention in this.
I did see that. It was spelled differently than I feel like everybody else was spelling it, so. I don't know. I have no idea. I feel like it is definitely different than the first one. Like, I don't know, some of it doesn't add up.
I agree. It feels different. And the first one, admittedly, it was really only hitting on petty gossip, stuff that if you just sat on the bench of the willow tree and watched, there was a lot of information you could gather there. Not all of it, of course, but most of it, a lot of it was like that. This one, it does seem like instead of filling up with random real gossip if they were just to sit and watch, at least I know from my section, since they just made something up, I imagine they did the same for others to fluff it out.
Yeah, this one actually has stuff that is has a bit more to it.
Where is the Cerulean section? Or was it after Bloodwind?
wonder if someone plans to keep on doing this.
It ultimately makes for an interesting read. Uncomfortable read, but interesting.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was definitely interesting up until I read my name, and then it's like, well,
I wanted to get to my name, in all honesty. I was kind of disappointed I was last.
oh.
Or Solmera was last. I had to read through the entire book to get to my section.
It is a very long book.
Mm-hmm.
Someone to sit down and write all this, my goodness.
Yeah. I don't have them ready now, but I have 2 tea invitations, and I guess one tea invitation that I'll have to pass to someone of your court to give to Lady Leviathan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was speaking with, it was at the Lunar New Year event. I was speaking with Lady Min, I suppose, and Lady Riley, and Professor Cribden was there too, and so we were going to get together and have a culture exchange. I just got to finish writing Lady Leviathans because I wanted to add her in too, because I know she really likes tea. And this book even more highlights it. I already have her invitation mostly written prior to getting this book, so that was not the reason.
She does indeed enjoy tea. Oh.
Miss, that is all from me then.
Well, again, thank you for talking with me about this. I do appreciate it, and hopefully we can speak more in the future, maybe on less business matters, I guess.
I agree. And I'm sorry if the way I took it was too frank, but I know I prefer people to be honest with me rather than me having to decipher their words' meanings.
No, I completely am the same. I would rather someone tell me what I have done or how something looks. That way I can correct my actions and better myself for the future.
I guess have a good rest of your evening. I'm going to go see if any of my courtiers are around to see their opinions on things.
Yes, as am I. Well, I guess we are walking.
Yeah,
in
we
the
do
same
need to go
direction.
the same way. Maybe the books are off the path at this point, depending on who has wandered.
Maybe.
Oh, the one that's here's gone.
Okay, so maybe someone has picked it up. Oh no. There's the hot dog booth. Okay.
Yeah, someone's cleaned the paths at least.
Well, that's good. That's a little bit like litter, so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have a good evening.
You as well. They cleaned up here. I wonder if we still have them in the mailboxes. Did they clean up the public ones, or did they try to cover up everything? She didn't tell me what her father did. She mentioned how there is some truth in the book of his actions, but past mentioning him holding people over her, threatening people, and killing some of the Cribden family, and trying to, I suppose, pin it on fringe houses. She didn't bring up the... Oh, you have the fun new book.
Ah, hello.
Greetings.
I did find the book. I am reading it. It's
86
very long.
pages, 86, and we're the last court mentioned.
Yes, I got up to page 33, and then I decided to skip to our section, which I am reading.
Let me know when you're done. I love that apparently
Yes.
I have my brother in obedience contract.
I saw that, and also the fact that they are not using the proper spelling for loon, which also
And they
slightly
said
irritates me.
Lord 7. Lord 7.
Did they say Lord?
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's like Soul Katarina that has a Lord 7 and obedience contract, whatever it said. It's like,
Apparently Tavali is the only loon.
yes, apparently him giving up possession
And
of
it's
Soul.
not even the right spelling of loon.
He truly lost his title. I stripped him of Soul and Moon, apparently. He doesn't get the sun or the
Goodness.
moon. He can go into the fog.
All right, let me finish reading this. I did know and see that they spoke about how Cass is taking the fall for the incident, though that incident has already been well resolved, so I don't... They're picking at straws here, at least until I get... Is there more about me in the section? I'm assuming so.
I think it mentions you a little bit, but I think it's mainly just about your duel with Lady Rosalind.
Oh, did they go in more detail about that? Let me see.
But at the same time, they mention your sister taking the fall for you, but to my knowledge, there was no punishment. She never received any discipline from it because it was ruled a magic duel where accidents happen.
Yes, it was a magic duel. It was... No one received any punishment. Well, give me a minute to keep reading this. I finished it, or finished our section of it.
You can read the rest. I don't even know if I read our section in depth, in all honesty. I had a meeting to go to prior to.
Oh?
I had to talk to the Crown Duchess.
Oh, I see. How did that go?
Like I was talking to a child. Again. I think it went well. But I feel like I was having to educate her about different things. Which she said that we have some similarities. She has not been fully trained for her position the same way I have. So it is an academy. She's learning as she goes, and that was certainly a big misstep, but she did not envision it playing out the way it did. So, but no, we spoke, and I did make it very clear that it comes to fighting, my answer is the same as any soulless would be. Any soul before me in our history is that we do not send knights outside our borders. So, but I also told her that if it's a succession dispute, she has the highest power to resolve it, and she should be doing so, not letting other courts give influence.
Interesting. Well, yes, you were right. The rest of it just mentions the battle. It mentions Felix's crush on me. It mentions the magic duel that Rosalind and I had. Tries to blame that. Apparently, it was part of my master plan all along. That I attacked her purposefully, and it wasn't a magic duel. I attacked her purposefully because I knew that Cass would have my back.
It says that Lord Myro is replacing Lord Mateo.
Yes, I noticed that too.
That's Lord Mateo, is it not?
That is indeed.
So they're just doing bold-faced lies in our section. We have given them absolutely nothing to work with.
Exactly.
And so they have to lie.
Exactly. And the thing with Ridley too, Ridley and Felix, is that, she's been away and that she's possibly hiding at Starfall.
I'm pretty sure she's just at home, honestly.
Pretty sure that she's also just at home.
Lord Felix and Hetty themselves, that their family is not very well off despite having a noble title. They worked throughout their childhood. I'm sure their mother needs her at home to work.
Yes, plus, I don't know, it just seems like they're in our section. I don't think it's anyone of our court. It just seems, I don't know, there's so much more that could be said.
Because if it was you, Luciella, or Tavalli, you could have very much highlighted my rantings of the hot spring. So.
Oh yes, and I could have also said something about the recent incident with the Cassian. If it was me,
They could have highlighted the fact we had no conduits at the festival grounds. Surprised that wasn't mentioned in general. I feel like when I picked it up, I was predicting.
Which makes me think, if it's not in any of the sea monster section, it makes me think that
I don't think it's Cerulean.
I think that this is a different one. I think the first book was Cerulean. I think this one is different. I think this is a copycat. Despite some of the information here, it just seems like
yeah, that's my impression, because the first one I was thinking it was Cerulean, but this one I was talking to the Crown Duchess. I really don't think this one was a member of her court.
I don't think it's Cerulean either.
With what's mentioned in her section, what's mentioned in our, like, I feel like if it was, the conduits wouldn't have been mentioned, because I feel like that was considered a pretty big blunder of disrespect, which was slightly intentional, but I also thought we had potion staff. Yeah, I thought we had potion set up before the beginning there. But
also I noticed the section. Sorry, apologies. Continue, and then I will go into my thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but it didn't mention that, so I don't think it was them.
The other thing too is that whenever they were talking about me, they said, honestly, boosted my ego about my family business and such. At least they know.
I mentioned in the Blood One section, I think, about my gorgeous gown. Katarina's gorgeous dress at the Rose Festival.
Oh.
How I had this short prince's attention span.
But yes, they said something about my potions, and they said that that Leonidas's potions are average, and something along the lines of that. I've looked over his potions. His potions are fine. They are obviously not on my level, but they are fairly close. They are not bad potions.
I feel like they perhaps took a list of everyone's names and are just trying to write something about everyone. Because you come to mine, it compliments me. Held a reputation of being formidable and untouchable. Among the court heirs, he possesses much grace and leaves little to be desired. And it's like, okay, we don't have anything negative to say about her. She has her brother in obedience contract.
Exactly. They're just trying to find something.
I told the Crown Duchess that if Seven was in an obedience contract, he would actually be attending the academy and earning me points.
Well, I guess I'll take this, and I don't know how to go about this, because it's honestly just a lot of nonsense.
I agree. It
the
was
situations
all around
talked about have already been, well, dealt with.
I will say, the first section, the section at Cinderland, it mentioned some extremely recent things. And something the Crown Duchess brought up is how it mentioned the situation that very few people knew of that happened on Friday in the Med Bay. And I know you were in the Med Bay a lot Friday, so you were likely there with those very few people.
I see. Yes, but when would I have the time? I've just been here and then at the Med Bay taking care of them.
But no, it feels like
I've offered both of them more potions, more assistance. I said, hello, do you need anything? I know Artoria said, oh, I need some water. And I said, all right. And I gave her some water. That's all I've just been sitting there attending to them.
It seemed like Bloodwind and Solmera sections were written farther ago, and it seems like the Cerulean and the Cinderloon have been very recently written, given that stuff in it was happening on Friday, so 3 days ago.
Yes, I guess they're trying to pin some blame on me, but
I'm not.
or people
I'm
would
not.
suggest
They didn't mention you by name on it. It's more so. I
it's
know the
just
Crown Duchess.
suspicion, adding suspicion to me.
It's whoever was in the med bay is whose
Mm.
suspicion is likely going to fall upon. I did say that. Well, after all, everyone in this academy loves to talk, so I did that at least when talking to the Crown Duchess when she brought up how she didn't think many people were there to witness it.
Mm.
I don't even know what she was referring to though. I don't remember if she told me.
Also,
or
in the
not.
med bay, I built a whole other room.
You what?
Why?
So
Yes.
Lizzaylia lost those points because she constructed some stuff in the med bay.
Did she?
Yes, and she was in her medicine when she was ill or come back from being kidnapped and injured.
Oh, because she had a whole roller coaster in there.
But that's still constructed in the med bay without permission.
The headmaster said that he wanted another room anyway, and that he was going to get one of the castle builders to do it. And in the same exact spot, Artoria was feeling very stuffy in that room because it was like a box. There was, I think it was probably around like this piece right here. There was not much breathing room. Honestly, I did him a favor. I don't believe he will be upset. Truly, I do not.
Shall we go look at it?
Yes. I made it fit with all the other rooms. I did not change it up all that much. Maybe added a bit more furniture in there, but really it is exactly like all the other buildings. Or other rooms, apologies.
I don't know where my umbrella is. I found it.
Oh no, you were getting like soaking wet, Katarina.
It's fine. I was in the I was in the sauna room for a while today. I'm already pruny.
For a while? How are your
Yeah.
hands? Are they pruny?
Pruny! Oh, you would never believe what I accidentally did the other day.
Oh,
I
no. Did you
went
fall asleep
to
in the tub.
No, I went to drink some milk because I was baking and I took a sip of lotion.
Oh no, Katarina.
I was so upset when I tasted it. Can you make it taste better?
If I made it taste better, that would be bad.
But what if I ever accidentally eat it? At least I don't have to gag. Well, I guess if I have to gag, it makes me not,
It
consume
makes you know
it.
exactly. If I make it so nice and tasty and flavorful, that causes issues with children as well, because then they'll think that it is, I don't know, some sort of nice food or cream or yogurt or something.
But it smells so good. Why taste so bad?
Apologies. Should I make a specific batch just for you that tastes very...
No, I think I would end up nibbling on it.
You see? My
I'm food
goodness.
motivated. Normally it's food I make myself, but I do have food motivated tendencies at times. Most people do. It is a cardinal desire, or whatever the word is.
It is. Oh, good. I know what word you're thinking of. I just can't think of the word myself.
I just make up things at times, I suppose.
Oh my goodness. I guess the rug is a little bit off because there's no good room space for the room. It's this right here, but it matches the dimensions. You see, 2, 2, 1. It looks exactly the same as the other stuff. I even extended the counter here. Look at this. You see, there's more room and such. You have your umbrella out still, by the way.
I'm just amazed at the fact that you constructed inside the headmaster's castle.
I
hope
truly
he
do not think.
approves.
Listen, I don't think over here would have been better because it is so much smaller and it would not work as a proper room. He said he was going to get it done anyway, so why not just do it myself?
I suppose.
It was already in the works. I honestly saved him the time and the cost.
I don't think I've ever looked up in this room before.
It is very odd. It is a very odd room. I had to work with what space I had, so... It is indeed odd.
I don't want to
I
disturb
mean,
them
there's
too
a
much.
whole other, there would be more space that could be used if that room wasn't blocked off.
Oh, there's a room there.
Oh, there's a whole room behind the bookcase.
Mm. Oh, right, the one
There is
in
so
there.
much space back there that could be used for more rooms, but no, not being used for anything. Where are we heading to?
The stairs. I don't know. I don't have a destination.
Not really either. I'm going to check on both of them. I don't know if... I know I saw Leonidas peek his head out.
Lady Riley poked her head out. She was who I first saw.
Ah, I see. I'd heard... Or, not heard. I saw Leonidas poke his head out.
I never saw him. I only saw Lady Riley, in all honesty. I have an invitation I need to give her. Let me finish writing her invitation.
All right, and then I guess we can go step over there very quickly. Go see if they need any more anything, really.
Oh, goodness. Hang on. I can't have everyone's invitation but hers.
Oh?
The books aren't named.
Oh, I see.
So I'm having to find which one I was writing that was addressed to her, because I did put their names in it. I just haven't signed them yet, which is where you would see their names. Okay, I guess she's just gonna get this one. Let me just, hang on, let me put her name and stuff in here and change out things. When were we hosting this? April 11th, but we're gonna do 5 instead, Everthorne Standard Time. You're invited to a session afternoon tea hosted by Katarina Solmera. The date of the tea is April 11th at 5 p.m. EST within the Botany Garden. Tea invitation. Okay, I have it. Oh no, I just put it back in the backpack. Okay, no, I have it.
Okay,
I was like, okay, I put all the I put the ones for the others away, and I was like, okay, because I don't want to have those in my pockets when I have to give her hers. And I was like, oh, I have so many other books on me because I took so many out trying to find it, and I put everything away.
Oh my goodness. Oh yes, this room is cursed.
Why is it cursed?
Do you want to see how it's cursed? Nothing. You can't move anything. Nothing could be moved. It is all here in its place.
Wow.
Nothing could
also
also
the headmaster
be...
got tired of people moving things and super glued it down.
Nothing can also be placed either. So if I think the only thing that can be placed is about right here, because I did board it up, but I unboarded it as to... I know this room is not occupied, so I was looking at it for reference of how to do the other rooms, but let me board this back up. Where did I set it? I think it's in here. There we are. All right. I have not been given the go-ahead to go in yet, so I will wait. Oh, that's new. Who put that there? Oh yes. Do you like my bed that I've been staying on for the past few nights?
You can give yourself a proper bed. You don't have to. You can move a bed and put it here. There's actually all these spare beds at you can put up some more trapdoors so you have privacy, or stay in the haunted room.
Oh, of course. I'd love to stay in the haunted room, Katarina. That would be my favorite thing in the entire world.
I have to probably exercise it, and then you can stay in it easy. Easy done.
Possibly. But yes. Oh, sorry. Do you want the chair instead? I can
No,
sit on
you can sit on your bed.
Here. I can sit here.
I'm not going to take what you just called your bed.
Apologies. Here, do you want a different seat?
Thank you, a fresh one. Much appreciated. Only the finest.
Of course, of course. You know, I will say this is comfier than these, but you know.
I've been thinking about how I want to decorate my house, so perhaps I will. I still don't have a bedroom, but I have plans for my library in the two sides.
Where's your bedroom going to be at?
It's in the top floor of my home. You can only get to it by jumping.
I did that with mine as well. Oh, did you see I started on it? I need more smooth sandstone, so that's what I've been smelting.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have not, no. I've been at, actually, it's rare for me to say I've been at the academy the past few days. Or this weekend, I suppose.
Shocking. Oh no, Katarina, be wary. They might start writing rumors about you coming back to the academy.
Oh no. Wait, what rumors would spawn of me being at the academy and not at kingdom building?
I don't know.
She's
maybe
given up on the kingdom building project.
That I don't know. Maybe they'll try to spin it as, oh, she's finally coming back to lead her court or something.
I guess.
Or, oh, she's finally involved in her court. Little too late. Something along the lines of that. You never know. They try to spin everything.
Because what they said in our section, oh, this is the invitation, not the book. They literally said in our section that what it said, Inter Sanctum revolved around me, apparently. So I do think I think I'm perceived as involved.
That's good.
Where is it?
I do wonder who wrote it this time.
Mm-hmm. I like how it highlights all of Lord Dante's titles.
I just did read that, yes. Oh yes, I see. They complimented your dress. So Katarina's gorgeous dress at the Rose Festival.
I do think that you might be the cause of that, given that prior to actually going to the Rose Festival in the group of all the students, you absolutely showered me in compliments.
Well, at least they're not saying anything negative about you. They're complimenting your dress.
Yes, that dress was wonderful. They should compliment it.
It was. Katarina, when am I going to be showered in compliments? Maybe I would be talked about less.
I talk about how pretty your hair is and how fluffy your tail is.
Oh, thank you. Oh no, it seems the prince was threatened by Veswin's competence.
I did read that.
See, all they bring up is the magical mishap weeks ago that has already been taken care of. Something that does kind of strike me as interesting. In the demon section, it talks a lot about Professor Castiel, Cassian, and Candaris. Also the note about Candaris almost drowning as a child. That seems like something personal, does it not?
I suppose so.
And just, they seem connected to Professor Castiel. Someone, I don't know. There's just so, I don't know who it could be, though.
I don't need her accusing people out loud.
Truly could be anyone.
If she starts accusing this book of being written by Cinderlone, and she's accusing Chancellor Cassian of trying to take her Tadlock, she's doing a lot against their court, and I no, absolutely not. Even if she wasn't accusing Cinderlone.
Also, I agree.
she
What
shouldn't
are
be
the violent
accusing-
actions? I still want to know what the violent actions are. Of the Cerulean Court.
Again, not things I'm talking about out loud, Daphne. I know very easily how what you can hear when you're in that room. If they're at the doorway, they can hear us. I don't know what to describe me wanting to make sure Lord Leonidas is safe. But anyone below us, anyone in these rooms, they can hear us.
They said we can go in.
Oh.
All right. Are you speaking?
I was not, no.
Ah, all right. Hello.
Hello.
May we come in?
Of course.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hello.
I do
Let
have
me see.
I have a tea party invitation for you, and if you don't mind giving the other two
Okay.
that you men.
After taking the
Okay.
bandage off, it doesn't
Will
look
do. Do you want any?
well
Okay.
puffy anymore.
Hmm?
You said who's the
Which
second one,
is-
sir? I didn't hear.
Lady Min, her name's in it as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let me
I
see.
do want to tell you, Lord Mateus is up there sleeping now.
Okay.
In case you were wondering where he is.
Yeah, I was under last told he was sleeping on that one bridge.
See.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know Felix is probably still there.
How is your pain today?
I took some of the pain medication when I woke up.
All right. That's good.
Still not a pain, but manageable.
Do you, apologies, I looked in here. Do you want more sleep medication?
Yes, please.
I can get you some of that. Oh, where did it go? Okay, I do need to brew more, but I can get you a few in here at least. Is there anything else you want or need?
No, I didn't think so.
All right. Did you give Riley the...
Yes, I gave her the invitations.
It's good. Well then, if there is nothing else, I will let you be on your, well, do what you were doing and I'll come bug you later. All right.
Yes,
Well then,
farewell.
let's get going.
Oh,
Still trying to finish this up.
the prince and me are to meet. I think we still have some time, but I do want to go off and send. Let's see. Okay, so I gave the 2 for Cinderloon, so now this is going to Tavali's mailbox, and then I have the 2 for Cerulean. I don't want to reach out to the Crown Duchess again right away, because we did just have that talk, and ultimately, do I think she might be incompetent? Yes, I think she's opening herself up for a lot of things that she's not going to be able to control. But I'd rather her than someone unknown at the same time. I'd just rather her not be following the whims of someone else. I don't want Cinderloon to be pulling her strings. I don't want her father to be pulling her strings.
Good evening, Katarina. Katarina, sorry. I am... Wow, I'll make a space.
That startled me.
How... If, literally any formality. How much have I talked to you on Violet and or Vicky?
We had a full discussion of sorts at your manor regarding it seems like the headmaster's covering for Violet. And blaming Vicky.
I have Vicky in my dorm room.
Trapped?
No. Willing there. She is the most, pleasant, kindest soul that I think I have ever met. She has people at home that are going to back her up. Well, I would hope so. I will be visiting to actually speak with them, but she is so far clueless and out of the loop. Has been home tending to family for literally since she arrived. I'm sorry. I'm over the moon. This is... Don't trust the headmaster, is I suppose where that starts, but...
Well, don't trust anyone.
Indeed. Right. Your meeting with the Crown Duchess. How did that...
From my end, I felt like it went well, but at the same time, I can't tell exactly what she's thinking. But I did make it very clear that Solmera, it didn't matter if she informed informed my court or me about this book and the news prior to the book going out, that whether she did or not, ultimately, my answer would not have changed. But it was a bad move in general to release the book without talking. But Solmera is not going to back treason or anything of that sort. But I also told her that she is rightful heir still. That was never stripped from her. So I still don't know what that book's going all about, but I told her that of anyone, she alone is in the best position to take and succeed over her father, as she is his rightful heir. But no, in general, I think I got my point across. I can't be certain though. It ended on good terms. We were chatting about the new book. Have you read the 86-page book?
Well, in truth, I read up to the end of my section, and I skimmed yours.
She did not tell me everything. When I asked what her father has done, she mentioned the Charybdins and how he's saying a fringe house is responsible to the attack and pinning that on them. And that she revealed he is really trying to get her to return to court, and he's holding people over her to try to get her to return, which I told her that, as I said, she's the rightful heir. If he's trying to coerce you back, don't go, because she's his biggest threat at the moment, even if it means potentially losing those people he's holding. So I guess you should probably didn't take too kindly to that, but that is just the truth of it.
Right.
She admitted that she is not fully trained, which, lo and behold, I did already assume that. I'm not either, but I also wouldn't agree to release a book addressing other courts without talking to those courts.
Yeah.
But overall, I did mention wanting to, or she actually brought up wanting to spend more time together. So hopefully that goes well. And I overall, albeit while I was annoyed, I focused on trying to make her have a higher opinion of herself and the power that she does hold, so she isn't as reliant on others. Because I don't want her to be reliant on other courts, and then her court get submerged into Cinderloon, for example.
Very true.
Past that, we kind of just gossiped about the cost of trust.
What are your general impressions on it so far? What have you
My
gathered
sections,
overall?
again, I think they just never have anything about Solmera.
They fluffed up our section this time, but it's still a whole lot of nothing. They also just lie. They say that I've kissed my own portrait and my own plushie, and I've deliberately not done that.
Oh,
definitely don't
that's
trust the
not as bad as a
plushie,
lie as saying that I have my brother in an obedience contract.
I was gonna ask about that, but
No, I don't. He didn't want the position of soul. He vacated it when he turned 18, so it fell to me at 17. I never expected to become soul. It's an honored position, so I can't say I don't value it, but it's not the future that I was raised to go to.
right.
So, and if I could control my brother, he would be here participating in classes and earning points. He's a knighthood major. He would be in knighthood, fighting duels and getting us points. But he's not. So, it seems my control
to call a lot
has
of
waned.
attention to those that just are absent.
It mentions
calls
Lady
Veswin out
Ridley. My section's full of people who are absent. Lady Ridley, she is back at home. It brings up how Lord Mateo is being impersonated by his twin, Lord Myro. He's not. I've spoken to Lord Mateo. It is, in fact, Lord Mateo. It brings up Lady Luciola's disappearance, which is old news. Brings up how Professor Saren's frequently missing. It just brings up... It ends on, if my court's actually qualified, because we don't have people here, but we do. We are very prevalent in the classes we attend.
Calls mine out for Veswin being gone. She's sick. There's nothing I can do about that. But that rather the prince was threatened by Lady Veswin's competence and sent her away so he wouldn't be overshadowed. No! I had to scramble to restructure everything after she left. It's definitely not a secret here that she kept things in line. Why would I send her home for keeping things in line? It would be stupid when we're already behind. It is just the most fluffed nothing book.
Mm-hmm.
I also like it saying, it is doubtless that if Lady Veswin were still here, surely Lady Rosalind would not have been the victim of Lady Daphne's magical attack a number of weeks ago.
Except she would have, because it was a magic duel approved by a teacher. It was, they're both
Exactly.
people, they're magic students. They're going to duel.
What is the correlation there? Lady Veswin would have had nothing to do with it. I'm thoroughly baffled by this book.
Mm-hmm. It seems it's written, I feel like our two sections are old news. False or old news. And then
They call it my love tester, which I didn't appreciate.
Cerulean and Cinderloon has information, or at least Cerulean has information that was just from Friday.
Because the other thing I noticed is it is not by the same person. I don't believe it is.
No, I was talking to Lady Daphne about this. The first book was very clearly a sea monster, and honestly, this one, I can't imagine it being a sea monster at all.
Well, honestly, sea monster is who I had it narrowed down to.
How so?
The writing is much more flowery. Just to separate the writers, it's much more flowery. It's got the dividers. It strays from this author structure that the first one so vehemently sticks to. This one slips up. It goes, this author might be the only one willing to say what is on their mind, so on behalf of every student here, allow me to expand. It slips up. It goes into the author. It reads as if someone read the original book and took on after that. So it's definitely a different person. But what I at least noticed was, I don't think it would be a vampire. They would point out a number of other things that certainly would make perfect fit into this book.
They have, unless they just in general don't care for titles, they have
Loon spelled wrong.
Loon is spelled wrong, but the reason why I wasn't thinking it was a sea monster, one of the reasons is they call him Lord Silas. He's a duke of his court now.
I did not read over the sea monster section, so I suppose that's honestly my fault, but the other thing is, I'm trying to figure out what this book is trying to do, or what the exact point is. I can't say it would be to distract from for immediate release book, because it scathes Cinderloon for that. I mean, it's making fun of the ruler the entire way through. It's calling out shots that he's absent, he's at home, yet what is he doing? It's calling out Chancellor Canderous for bottling his bathing liquid. I mean, it's so... Oh. And it also has so, the bit on there about Bloodwind and Cinderloon, crass and abusive language, as well as Lord Cinder's supposed quote-unquote prank on their dorms, which prompted Prince Ezra to negotiate a month-long therapy trip for Lord Cinder. That was not the terms. What we agreed to was sending him home for medical treatment for, at the start, a month, just to diagnose him, figure out whatever is wrong with him, and then keep him there as long as it would need to be to fix that. Cinder was the one to prompt the time frame of a month. And so, I don't know. Unless the demons were gaming it and knew they wanted a month-long therapy trip. It feels like an outsider perspective.
Well, the demons might also be doing it too. Like there may be someone unhappy within Cinderloon.
Mm-hmm.
Because that book could not have passed through very many hands. Because you and me both read it, and it was immediately apparent that that's awful. So it could not have actually been proofread by very many people. So it could also be someone of their own court who is firmly against it. I'm gonna tell you this, but It's more of a warning, not something to spread. Watch your back around High Chancellor Candaris. He reportedly has tried to take Lady Daphne's tag lock, and then whenever she confronted him about it, very firmly was denying it, and then said, well, think of what... Something... He pulled his title on her, his rank, about how she's accusing him when he's High Chancellor. So, as
High Chancellor, wait, Candaris or...
Cassian, apologies.
Okay, okay. Ugh.
So,
Uh,
right now, unfortunately, as everything that's going on, I don't... If Cerulean is going to be indebted to Centralune, I don't want to be pointing fingers at the High Chancellor, even though I do believe Daphne in this, and give him a reason to mark Solmera as hostile, especially since he has seemed so willing to mark the Grand Duke as hostile. But this is just a word of caution that don't leave your back turned towards him, because if he sees the opportunity...
Is this something that I would be able to discuss with Acting Advisor Celica, or
I
would
don't...
you rather it be kept tight?
Tight, because the witnesses are 2 demons, so if it is talked about, it's very obvious that it would have been Daphne, because his own court's not going to go talking about how he tried to take someone's tag log.
Very well. I can at least advise her then to be cautious around demons more than usual.
It doesn't even have to be demons, just have her watch her tag log. Don't turn your back towards people. Anyone can curse others with it.
Right. I need to read over the sea monster section here still. I'm supposed to get a full account, but I don't think was either of our courts. I mean, they spell loon wrong.
No, my court wouldn't misspell technically while it is our heir title, it is also in part a religious title. They're not going to spell that wrong.
Exactly. And unless the vampires are just being very nice and leaving a lot of things out, they could write many, many more scathing things rather than the absolute filler that was in here.
Oh, another reason I didn't think it was Cerulean was because they didn't bring up the lack of conduits at the Valentine's Day Festival. I figured if it was my court or theirs, that would have definitely have been brought up.
Fair. I don't know. I need to, I suppose, get a better impression of their section just to figure out, but... Never a dull moment, right?
Mm-hmm. I woke up, or not woke up, I left my dorm room to prepare to go to this meeting and checked my mail, and it was an 86-page book. So the meeting got delayed.
Yeah, that's... Leonidas wanted to meet as I was reading over this with Celica, and we were just about to leave when you missived, so I said we may have to delay the Leonidas meeting. You said you had 15 minutes. I figured we could meet with Leonidas in 15 minutes, so we left for that, and then Vicky missives me.
A meeting with Leonidas.
What a day.
What did Lord Leonidas want to meet with you about? He's in... I guess this might be a secret, but also isn't, because I feel like a lot of people have seen him,
Well,
but he's in Medbay.
I think it did mention it in here.
Did I skip over it?
But...
Frankly, I did have to skim it because I was on my way to a meeting.
Thought it did. Yeah, though evidently Lord Leonidas has been seen in the medbay as well as of late, so perhaps he went a bit too far in his tactics.
Oh. I thought you were telling you the reason for your meeting was in this.
No.
No,
Just
like I said, he was in the medbay and it was kept down low originally, but that doesn't last long in all honesty. When you're in the medbay, people pass through.
Right. No, it's, I believe, related to the Violet situation or the after effects of the potion experiment.
Because when I left him, or I wasn't really with him, I was with Lady Daphne, but him, Lady Daphne, Lady Riley were all together in Med Bay. But that was probably 40 minutes ago at this point.
Let's see. He wanted to meet in Botany Club.
Oh, a place of meetings. That's where I met the Crown Duchess.
Congratulations on making a scenic spot. Well, is there anything else to discuss?
Not exactly. I assume you're planning to meet with the Crown Duchess at some point regarding Blood One's
Yes, at
stance
some
on the
point.
book. When she read the book, she didn't take it the way I did. I let her know that the book seemed like it was implying that she lost her title, and that Cassian was trying to reinstate it. I stated it that it feels like Cassian speaking for her rather than her speaking for herself in her court. And I told her that it seems like she's trying to rally the citizens and civilians of my court rather than talking to the rulers of our court. And she apparently did not see it that way on any of them. So I don't know how she saw it necessarily. She mentioned that she had no one to talk to about it really, so I think she only really took the advice of Cinderloon when writing it, which I think makes perfect sense in it. Told her no one does things for free, and just to be more firm in her decisions, I suppose, rather than letting people guide her.
So
But
I'll have to meet with her soon, but somehow there is a larger fish. That's unintentional. So I'm at a loss with the Vicky situation. I'm just total loss.
well, if her testimony and such can get Violet removed, I'm all for it. I don't want her anywhere near a court that's meant to oversee the kingdom when she has no respect for fell folk.
Much agreed, and I'm glad to have your support. I'm going to rush off to, I suppose, go meet. I don't mean to cut our time short, but
Yes, do not keep Lady Vicky, who you have kidnapped, in your room waiting.
I think they've wandered off elsewhere, but good day.
Farewell.